Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video here to kind of show something, hopefully help clear up some confusions I saw this past fall. A couple people came to see me for tutoring sort of hours with questions in their Linux course. They were a little confused making the transition between Windows and Linux. And the biggest issue seemed to be that they were used to the Windows systems where we can click on pictures and start stuff, like click on File Explorer and then click on these pictures and navigate through different files. I'll delete this one and see all our stuff that way. And I'm not used to doing it with text-based commands. Whereas on the Linux system, we do most of that stuff with the text-based commands. I guess there are some user interfaces there as well, but we still tend to use a bash window a lot. And Mac OS also includes a bash terminal, or maybe a Zeesh terminal if you've updated, but they're very closely related. So you have to get kind of advanced before you'll start noticing the differences between bash and Zeesh. So I'll just say bash on Mac OS as well. And Chrome OS, if you initialize the Crostini desktop and you have a Linux desktop on your Chrome system that uses a bash shell. So all the other systems kind of operate the same way, but Windows is different. Even if we do go into the backgrounds, maybe you learn a few keyboard shortcuts, and that's not the one I wanted, like Windows E to start the File Explorer instead of clicking on the picture. And then it has an address bar, so we can push Alt D to get to the address bar and navigate around this way, like go to the Documents folder and then the Delete folder using backslashes. Or we can go to the address bar and type CMD to open the command prompt right here where we're at. And the command prompt is the big thing. That's the Windows operating system control language. So if I do Windows X this time, I'll just open the command prompt from here. And we can do the same thing, like CD. One of the subtle differences between Windows and Linux systems are things that use bash is on, if you're in bash, CD stands for change directory, whereas in Windows, CD stands for current directory, because we can use it as a variable here as well. And do the same thing. So like go into our Documents folder, if I can spell it correctly, and then the Delete folder, and then do some stuff like maybe start the File Explorer here. So start at the current directory, that's this instruction that runs whenever we click that icon. Well, that one was a little modified, so maybe not that instruction, maybe something like start Chrome. Whenever we go click this icon in the taskbar or on the desktop, it just runs this text-based instruction in the background, which leads to a little bit of extra confusion. And the reason I kind of want to make this video is perhaps some of my students might see this video and having doing that on Windows. Well, when we're learning about computers, we want to learn those text-based instructions, and they're different on the different systems. But they're text-based instructions. They're in human format. They're not in machine format. So there's nothing that restricts us to this. So what I wanted to show, we do the same thing on PowerShell, but to keep the video short, I'll kind of skip over that. Updated version of command prompt. There are a lot of advantages. I was hesitant to change, but once I did, I was quite happy. But this video is something different. It gets confusing because, well, on our Mac operating systems, we can open the terminal and use those bash commands or Zeesh commands, but I'm going to say bash for this video here. Or a Linux system, we open the bash terminal and give all the text-based commands for that. Or on a Chrome OS, if you go ahead and initialize your Crostini desktop, which you really should, there's just open the bash terminal and give the instructions there. So all of our operating systems except Windows are going off a bash terminal. But that's text-based instructions. That's human form, not machine form. So there's nothing really stopping us from putting a bash terminal to control Windows. So here I'll open up the bash terminal and run some instructions here. So change into, I'll do this one first. I'm on a Windows machine. controlling the Windows operating system, so I'll use a backslash like I'm supposed to for Windows, but no such file or directory. So it is the if I switch to forward slash, you'll see it really is the bash commands here. To take this a step further, why don't I create a file? Testing123.txt. There we go, and we'll go in here and edit this. So I'll just use VI for some confirmation that I really am controlling Windows from bash here. So I'd insert and here's the text file. This in here, just checking, just some words there. So now if we do colon write and quit, we have that text file there. So what's something I can do? I don't know, I'll go up a level, which that command would be the same on Windows command prompt anyway, and do something that is definitely bash, so there's no confusion about what's going on. So I'll use grep, cursively ignore case because I already forgot how I typed it a few seconds ago, but I know I put the words just checking in there. So I do this, hopefully it won't take too long. Wait, there it is. Okay, so the words just checking showed up in the delete folder, this file called testing123.txt. So you can see definitely a bash instructions running the Windows machine here. So that's what I wanted to show, and that makes it a whole lot easier because then all of our main systems, Windows, Mac, Linux, and Chrome OS can all be ran from the same instructions. So for the students who might end up in my class, where you're learning about computers, especially in my classes teaching software development, it happens a lot that I'm jumping back and forth between systems to show what's the same between the different languages when we're in Python or Java in particular, or what's different in some of, if we're running like C#, and jumping back and forth between the systems, because that's important for software developers, and you're gonna need to know the different systems, and that makes it confusing. But if we have one operating system language to control everything, it clears that up a whole lot. So what I have here is the git bash. So it's directly connected to GitHub. It's really nice to have a bash shell to interact with GitHub, is where this originally comes from. And you can just go to a browser and check download Git in order to get it. As you can see, I already searched for it while preparing for today. And it's this right here. It comes with a whole lot of things. Obviously, I already have it installed, and just download your installer, which Mac and Linux and Chrome OS are already going to have a bash shell on them. There's some other stuff with them you might want there, but for our purposes, just download the latest Windows installer, which I already have here. And you'll get a couple things over in the start menu. The git bash. There's also a command prompt and a GUI for interacting with your Git repository. But the bash is the one that is very convenient to use here. I already have mine connected to the terminal. One thing that is very different that you'll want to set up, this is the main reason I made a video to show this part, is if you're doing things with the bash shell, you're probably going to want to use sudo at some point. I know what I'll do. I'll change up to the top directory. I'm going to go up to the home directory and show you something, because you're going to want to configure this. Right off the bat, the prompt has a line break in the middle of it, so your $sign's actually on the next line by default, which bothered me, so I adjusted that, which means fixing the bash RC and the profile stuff. So where that's at when you download this, if you go up to the top level and in etc, so we go in there, change directory to etc, you will see bash.bashrc. So here's your bash RC file. And profile-d, that'll have the profile style, which these are read only. So if I go in and try to change like the bash rc, vi bash dot bash rc, I'll just change the last line here. So hit I to insert and start in tilde in my documents delete folder. My scratch folder I always work in. So do that, hit escape, and then :WQ to try to save that. Oh wait, that shouldn't have worked. I didn't think I had write access, but apparently I do. I was expecting that to not work, and I'm not sure why it did. Anyway, well, that worked. But what I was going to show is normally that did not work when I was preparing for the video, so I don't know why it did this time. It said I don't have access to read it when I was getting prepared, but it did. So normally we would go into bash.bash rc with the super user do command. Then we go in here and have full write access, which for some reason I did full write access. And the difference, probably not showing up on the video, but on a Windows machine, it'll pop up the regular user account control box. If you're on Windows, you've seen it before. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes, blah, blah, blah. So click yes, and then we can make the changes, which I'm not sure why those changes worked. I shouldn't have had write access to this file. I'll go ahead and go back to the directory I actually want to start at. Save that. And that's bothering me because, yeah, we can see right here, I only have read access, which it didn't work when I did the test, but maybe when I set up the sudo command. Because the thing I wanted to point out is the sudo command is not set by default. Oh yeah, while I'm up here, change directory into profile.d. And if you want to customize how the prompt looks, the shell script for the, oops, vi get prompt. The shell script for customizing this is in here. Of that, but the thing I actually wanted to show that didn't seem to work is by default the sudo command's not there. We have to add it, and luckily, well, this is connected to GitHub, so we can go to GitHub and get the things to do that. Then you'll have full access. It'll be the normal system, so you can just check it. Something like sudo on git bash is what I searched earlier today. And the very first results is this GitHub repository here. So we go over here, which is running slow from recording the video, but there he goes. There's a repository here. We can scroll down. And here, oh, nice little video showing you how to do all the stuff, walking through the steps. But this instruction right here, just hit the copy button and paste that into the bash shell and it'll run it. And then you will have the sudo super user privileges, which apparently came through automatically. Because that other one shouldn't have worked. But just copy and paste that in here. It has to be done with the right click because it is a bash script. But I already ran it. And the very first time you'll get a warning message, which can just be ignored because it's a warning, not an error. Then after that, you will have administrative privileges. But if you pass in that sudo command, and like I'll do it here, just on something simple, sudo vi get prompt.sh. If you don't like those colors and want to change those up or something, and then you'll see the normal Windows access control message pop up that you have to confirm. You want to allow changes, all of that stuff. Did I type that wrong? Either way, that gives you full access to run your Windows machine just like your Linux system or your Mac OS system or your Chrome OS system if you've got the Crostini desktop initialized, which can make it a whole lot easier to jump between systems, or if when you're in the process of learning computers and IT stuff in general, it's a good idea to know this stuff. So having one set of instructions to control all your systems is really, really useful. So you just download git bash. You can just say download git and it'll be included in the package that downloads. And then search for sudo git bash to install that extra dependence, that extra thing in there to give you administrator privileges on your Windows system from this bash shell. Then you can control all of your operating systems from one single language. It makes things a whole lot easier and a lot less confusing when we jump back and forth between languages. Just thought I would share that video. Hope some people find that helpful.